Let's Play! As some of you are well aware, I got a little excited when Cloud was announced for Smash Bros.
Ah! Whoa, oh shit, what the fuck? No! No, people are gonna be so mad! People... Oh my god, what?
But in actuality, I think I'm actually more excited for the stage itself, and not just because it looks amazing and has all sorts of summons from all the Final Fantasy games appearing, but because of the music that will appear on it. Now, I'm pretty much expecting only Final Fantasy VII music to appear on it. However, I like to dream big, so I decided to do not only a top 5 of the music from Final Fantasy VII I'd like to see on the stage, but as well 5 songs that I'd like to see from other Final Fantasy games, mostly representing the time it was, actually with Nintendo. Now, of course, a couple songs have been hinted at or confirmed to be in, including the normal fight theme, the boss theme, and potentially the opening bombing run mission theme, so we're gonna ignore those for now, and let's go with alternating between 5 other songs from Final Fantasy VII I'd like to see in, and 5 songs from other Final Fantasy games that I would also like to see in. There is no order to this is just how, in the order I discovered them, if you will. So, with that said, let's get started. The first song I'd like to see from Final Fantasy VII make the cut is the Mako Reactor from Final Fantasy VII. This plays at the beginning of the game when you're going and doing the actual bombing mission. This song is super atmospheric. In fact, it reminds me quite a bit of like a Metroid song. And not only that, it really fits the industrial, sort of corrupt environment, and it's really good. Funnily enough, I first discovered this song from Chocobo Tales on the DS, where it was used in like a dungeon, but it works super well and fits the environment, and will be a nice change of pace from the high-paced battle themes. Next up, from all other Final Fantasy games, is the Prelude. Now, if you were to ask someone what is the main theme of Final Fantasy, you'd probably say the Prelude, because it is, as far as I'm aware, in every Final Fantasy game in some regard. Now, there are variations, but honestly, we'll go with the main idea of the Prelude. Now, this could be they could put in an original version, the original version, rather, or unoriginal version, or even one of the arrangements from over time. The one I'm using here is the Distant Worlds arrangement. That's like the symphony version that they went on tour with. But honestly, any version works, because it is the main theme of Final Fantasy as a series, and I think it deserves to be in. Next up for Final Fantasy VII music, we have Jenova, otherwise known as just the Jenova battle theme, which is an awesome, kind of creepy, but still rocking boss battle theme for when you fight parts of Jenova, and it really fits the stage, I feel, and more battle themes are always welcome because they fit the fast-paced nature of Smash Bros. For sure. Next up for the other section, we have the opening theme from Final Fantasy 1, which is a game I feel a lot more people should play because it's actually super amazing. Now the opening theme to me is one of the more iconic Final Fantasy songs and has appeared in other games as well. But for me, it's like, it sticks mostly with Final Fantasy 1 because of my memories with it, and as well as the fact that it really fits the opening scroll when it goes up. Now, this is an important song because of the fact that Final Fantasy 1 was going to be like the Final Fantasy game on Nintendo because it was thought to be a dying genre, and then it sold amazingly. So this one has a big connection with Nintendo because it being on the Nintendo saved the RPG, if you will. And as such, I think it's very important it's in. Now, it could be the original, 8-bit version, or I'd even take a original remix. Now, there actually aren't many, proper, redone versions of it out there, so it would probably have to be done in-house by, I'd say, Namco Bandai. Next up for Final Fantasy VII, we have one that's not from Final Fantasy VII itself, but from something called the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, so it's more like the Final Fantasy VII franchise, if you will. This one comes from Crisis Core, and is called the Soldier Battle. Now, this one's really cool, because not only is it like a rocking battle theme, but it has some very militaristic feelings to it, that someone said sounds like it's from a Command & Conquer game, which is really cool. So not only would it provide a bit of a change in pace, and number one being like a more modern sounding song, but it also represents a bit of Cloud being in Soldier and stuff, and it's a great callback to Crisis Core, which is a very important part of the Final Fantasy VII mythos. Up next for the other Final Fantasy section, we have this song from Final Fantasy IV. I say this song because it has many titles. The one I'm looking at now is called the Four Emperors Dreadful Fight, but it's also known as Battle with the Four Fiends or Clash of the Four Fiends, something like that. So basically the boss battle theme from Final Fantasy IV when you would fight one of the four fiends. This song is super important also because Final Fantasy IV, which came to America as Final Fantasy II, was an early Super Nintendo RPG and really ushered in that era of JRPGs on the Super Nintendo, and not only that, it's a wonderful song, so it's very important. I chose the DS version of it, just because it'd be nice to switch it up a bit, and the DS, that's another big thing, all the DS RPGs, so you'd be able to get a little bit of the Super Nintendo, a little bit of the DS in there, which is important, because those are like some big platforms for Final Fantasy. Up next for Final Fantasy VII, we actually have a song from Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, the movie sequel to Final Fantasy VII. This song is The Chase of Highway, and it has a bit of the Turks theme in it, but otherwise it's just a rocking song that I feel fits the stage, and we gotta get some Final Fantasy VII Advent Children in there, because again, that's another big part of the Final Fantasy VII mythos. Next up for the other Final Fantasies, we have Final Fantasy V's Battle with Gilgamesh, otherwise known as Clash on the Big Bridge. Now, Final Fantasy V was not actually released in North America until the Game Boy Advance version, but this song's very important because of the fact that Gilgamesh is the only Final Fantasy character, as far as I'm aware, that is the same Final Fantasy, like the same character between all the different Final Fantasies. Every Cid is different, every Moogle and Mog is different, but Gilgamesh is the only one that can tie them all together, and I think that's really important. Now, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't actually appear in 7, but I'm pretty sure he'll appear in the remake. But he does tie together a bunch of the other games that are on Nintendo systems, so I think it's pretty important to have this in. Plus, this is actually like my favorite Final Fantasy song, so kinda want it to be in. I'm actually going to switch things up a bit here. I'm going to leave the final Final Fantasy VII song for last, and we'll take a look at the final other Final Fantasy song first off, and that is Final Fantasy VI's The Decisive Battle. Now, for this song, it's important to realize that Final Fantasy VI at the time was Final Fantasy III, and to this day, I think it's the best Final Fantasy game on a Nintendo console. And of course, this was the one before Final Fantasy went to Sony. So I think it's important we recognize that one Final Fantasy game. Do you know how many times I've had to re-record this because I've had to say Final Fantasy in it? It's really tough. But it's an awesome song. It's actually, I played Final Fantasy 3 as a kid, this Final Fantasy, which is 6 now. God, that's confusing. But this song stuck with me for life. It is such a good boss battle theme, and I think it really deserves to be in. Alright, and you probably know what song I saved for last. How can this stage come out without having some version of One Winged Angel on it? Literally one of the most influential songs in all of gaming. It is amazing. Honestly, I prefer Final Fantasy VI's final boss theme. I feel like it did, it was a 17-minute song featuring instruments the Super Nintendo shouldn't have been able to play. but at the same time, I realize that doesn't make much sense for Smash. One Winged Angel most certainly does. Any version of it, even a new version, but I think if they're gonna pick a version, it would probably be the orchestral one that's used in a bunch of other stuff, and I really hope this song gets in. They could pull a Guile's theme and have it not be in somehow, but if that's the case, I'll be really sad. Though that's just because of a meme. This song is it's a masterpiece, and any version has to be in. Man, if it's not, it will be the biggest disappointment ever. So I've just picked, the orchestrated version of it to play here, but any version, the original, even the one from Advent Children, which is just rock, it's like, this song has to be in. It is the Final Fantasy VII song, and even people who haven't played Final Fantasy VII have heard this song and know what it is, It's crazy, and it has to be in. So, those are my picks. Enjoy this final rendition of One Winged Angel, and I'll see you guys next time on my top 10 countdown of songs I'd like to be in Smash Bros. Who knows, when the next Direct happens, I'll probably have more to talk about. Thank you all for watching. Ciao.